ticket, I want you in my life. Feel a mile high when you're on my side. High up in the sky, cruising through the night.
Hello guys, welcome back to another video. As always, I am so excited to have you guys here and excited for another What I Eat in a Week. I love sharing these with you guys just to give you guys some meal ideas or inspiration and show you how you can incorporate more whole foods into your diet. I read a statistic the other day that 70% of the calories consumed in the US come from ultra processed food, which is crazy, and I'm very passionate about sharing with you guys how you can take a more holistic approach to your health, and a huge part of that is eating whole foods, real foods that come from nature. I think that nutrition gets overcomplicated nowadays, and really what we have to focus on is eating whole foods, making sure that we're getting adequate protein and fiber throughout the day, lots of colors, lots of polyphenols, and yeah, that is what I love sharing in these videos. So I do want to get into the video, but in my last video I got a lot of questions about the different supplements that I take on a daily basis. So I wanted to talk a little bit about those. Now, if you guys did watch my last video, you know that for a few weeks I was doing a modified candida cleanse. I'm no longer doing that just because basically all my symptoms went away pretty quick. I was just having some brain fog and fatigue, but I thought that I would share with you guys just kind of my everyday supplements. Just a quick disclaimer, these are the supplements that I take for me personally, and they change depending on the time of year, depending on how I'm feeling, depending on my blood work. All of those things impact the supplements that I'm taking. So these are just the ones that I'm taking right now. I actually had some blood work done yesterday, so I'll probably be reassessing these soon. Just jump right into it. The first thing that I take basically every day is my vitamin D. I will just adjust the dose for this based off of my blood work. The next thing that I take is a probiotic. Right now I'm taking two. This one is a multi-strain probiotic, and then this one is a single strain just with Saccharomyces boulardii. So I'll usually just combine these two and take them together. The next thing that I take every day is NAC. I love NAC, or N-acetylcysteine. It is the rate limiting component of glutathione within the liver, and glutathione is our master antioxidant. It is used up a lot in the liver. This one also has selenium and glycine in it, and glycine is also an amino acid that is used up to make glutathione. I'm also just taking milk thistle just to support my liver coming off of my candida cleanse. And then I talk about choline all the time. I love choline. Again, it's great for the liver. So right now I'm also taking phosphatidylcholine as well. And then I'm also taking ginseng as a tincture before my meals, just as a bitter to help with stimulating digestion. There are so many different bitter herbs that you can use. I just like the ginseng one. And then the only other thing that I've been doing on a regular basis is this herbal mouthwash that I got at the clinic. I'm not sure everything that's in it. I'll put a clip of it up on the screen, but it's just basically an herbal based mouthwash with some antimicrobial herbs. So I use that as part of my night routine, and then I do coconut oil pulling in the morning just to help support the oral microbiome. That is everything that I'm taking right now. I really don't like to take too many supplements at one time. I just find it very overwhelming. And like I said, I really like to target my supplements to my concern, my blood work, my life at that certain time. And like I said, it's always really important to talk with your healthcare provider about your specific needs in terms of supplements. And then you also want to make sure you speak with them before starting any supplements, because there's always possible contraindications or interactions with medication. With that being said, let's just jump into the video, because guys, there were so many delicious meals this week. I'm so excited to tell you guys about them. So yeah, let's just get into it. not just metabolic health, but it's also antimicrobial, so it's great for gut health. We want about half of our plate to be vegetables. So I always say that muscle mass is really like the golden ticket for metabolic health. It is a great site for glucose disposal, but it also improves insulin sensitivity, it lowers inflammation, and so on Monday, I had a podcast recording in the morning, so I wanted something super quick and easy for lunch. I just warmed up some leftover squash and roasted broccoli that I had from the weekend, and then we had some leftover meatballs. I made these in my last video, so you guys can check out that video for how to make those. I also washed up some produce. I always wash my produce in a mixture of baking soda and vinegar. It just helps to remove some of the dirt, herbicides, and pesticides. And then on Monday, I always like to do a big batch prep of chicken. I always season my chicken the same way. I use avocado oil, salt, parsley, and garlic powder, and it's just so nice to have ready-made chicken throughout the week. It's so easy to throw on salads. Speaking of salads, I am making my favorite salad that I will probably be making all summer. It's just so delicious. I start with a base of greens. You can really use whatever greens you have on hand, and then I have been on a huge radish kick. Radishes are so great for you. They're a bitter food, so they're great for the liver, great for stimulating digestion. So I've been adding in those. I added in some leftover sweet potato that I had. I had some avocado, so of course I threw that in. Really, I think the avocado makes this salad. It just adds a nice creamy component to it. I also added some sauerkraut as well. Of course, I also added some parsley, olive oil, and then I like to just add a little bit of salt and pepper for seasoning. And yeah, that was my dinner. Like I said, I will probably be having this dinner on repeat all summer.
Shall I compare to a summer day? She's the sun, she fill up the gray. Quench my thirst, she's my lemonade. The yellow that I couldn't paint. Shall I compare to a summer day? Just like the sun, it will never fade. The cool breeze in the shade, my four leaves to the blade, right to my mistakes.
So on Tuesday mornings, I always go into the clinic, so I like to just bring my breakfast with me, although I will always still take a break to eat my breakfast. And I always bring just some eggs. I've been loving broccoli microgreens. Again, so high in sulforaphane, great for the liver, and to also have some squash. Just a very simple breakfast, so easy to take on the go. And then I'll also have my coffee, and I'll just have that after my breakfast. And then when I came home, I just make my staple spring summer lunch, which is a giant salad. Again, basically the same thing I put in it the day before, just some spring mix, radishes, sweet potatoes, chicken, avocado, sauerkraut. And then for my dressing, I always just do parsley, olive oil, salt, and pepper. I honestly think that I made this salad every day this video. It is just so good. Such a high fiber, high protein, high polyphenol meal that I eat basically every day. Okay, and then I know that I keep talking about how good these meals were, but really this dinner was so good. I mean, any meal with salmon is going to be delicious, but this is a salmon that I made with a radicchio salad and a tahini dressing. And for my dressing, I just mixed up some tahini, mustard, honey, lemon juice, salt, and I just added enough water to thin it out and get it to the consistency that I wanted. And then I washed up some radicchio, again, another bitter vegetable, great for the liver, great for stimulating digestion. And overall, this was just such a delicious meal. The radicchio salad was really light, crispy, and fresh. Of course, I love any sort of salmon, so that was delicious. And then I had it with some leftover purple sweet potatoes, so we got in some resistant starch as well. I topped it off with a little bit of the extra tahini dressing, and yeah, just ate that on my balcony. So for dinner, I was looking at what I had in the fridge, and I had a big block of tofu that I wanted to use up. So I always season my tofu the same way. I'll usually do garlic powder and tamari. Sometimes I'll also add some maple syrup if I want kind of a sweet and savory mix. This day I just did tamari and garlic powder, and I just let my tofu marinate for about 30 minutes. You can definitely leave it in there longer if you want the tofu to really soak up the flavor, but I just did 30 minutes, and then I decided to do kind of a baked stuffed sweet potato kind of thing. I just cut up a purple sweet potato, which is by far my favorite sweet potato. If you can find these, they are just delicious. They're so good. They're so packed with antioxidants and polyphenols, just really great. And I just roasted that in the oven with a little bit of avocado oil. I threw in my tofu at the same time. And then once my sweet potatoes were done, I took them out and I just scooped out the inside. I cubed up my tofu, and then I also topped it off with some avocado, some grated radish, and some tahini. Honestly, this seems like such a simple meal, but it is so delicious, and it's just the perfect spring summer meal. And by Thursday, my meals are definitely getting quite repetitive, but I always say that just having those staple meals that you know that you can throw together really easy and without thinking too much about it can make healthy eating during the week so much easier. And then for dinner on Thursday, I did my weekly just trying to clear out the fridge and trying to throw together whatever we have on hand. So I used up the rest of the squash, I don't think the rest of the squash, but a bunch of the squash. I mashed up the rest of the purple sweet potato that I had scooped out from the night before. I chopped off a bunch of the tofu, and then I made the best condiment sauce thing. And I've talked about this in my past videos. I love the combination of sauerkraut and tahini. I think that the saltiness and the acidity of the sauerkraut go really well with the fattiness and the bitterness of the tahini. So this time I did sauerkraut. I also grated in some radish and then mixed it in with some tahini, and it made the perfect, it was almost like a slaw-like consistency. consistency, but it was just the perfect thing. I think that it would also taste amazing on salads. Plus, you have the healthy fats from the tahini and the probiotics from the sauerkraut, and that was my dinner.
You're heading for the coast, hearing voices up ahead you. Who am I to let you go? You're a wrecking ball. Can you kiss me slowly? We can turn the headlights off. All our friends and all their voices falling silent in the car. And do you remember the fog was lifting?
And then Friday was just a very cold, rainy spring day, so I decided to make up a big thing of pasta for dinner. I started by sauteing some onions and mushrooms. We did a mixture of white and shiitake mushrooms. I also cooked up some ground beef and ground lamb, and then I just used a pre-made pasta sauce that I got at the health food store. I just always look for the ones that don't have any added sugar and just have really minimal ingredients. And then we also had it with some cassava flour pasta, which is my favorite gluten-free pasta. I just find that it holds together. It's a lot better than brown rice or quinoa pasta. So if you're looking for a good gluten-free pasta recommendation, I would try cassava. I definitely do include some of these more minimally processed foods in my diet on occasion. I really try to completely avoid any sort of ultra processed food and then use more of these minimally processed foods on occasion, and then have the vast majority of my calories coming from whole unprocessed food. With that being said, I also made a giant salad to go with it with some olive oil and balsamic vinegar. We topped off our pasta with some Parmesan cheese, and then I also had some dates and peanut butter for dessert. And then you guys know I never really film on the weekend. I just like to be present. But on the weekend, we did do some scrambled eggs with some veggies and some sourdough on both Saturday and Sunday. We also went out to dinner on Saturday, and then we did our normal salmon, broccoli, and sweet potato on Sunday. But that does bring us to the end of the video. As always, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you got some meal ideas or inspiration. As always, I am here to support you on your health journey, whatever that looks like for you. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.
You're never gonna come back. You don't